Thank you for watching this YouTube video today. This is Namtro with Namtro Gaming. Today we'll be going over the skill Ball Lightning and what to do to make it more effective for yourself. Ball Lightning is an ability that when you cast it away from yourself, it makes a ball that throws off spikes of lightning towards anything that's near the ball itself. The ball can only hit things every 200 milliseconds, and its area effect is actually fairly good size, and it's 200 milliseconds per cast. So if you had faster casting and you could cast a lot of these in succession, it would actually do more damage inside of the overlap zones. And what I mean by that is if you take any of these balls and put them next to each other, there'll be little areas, little pockets in between every one of the balls that would overlap and allow you to hit enemies with more than one ball at a time, which would increase the effectiveness of the gem. One thing to note as well is the gem always 100% of the time pierces. That means things like chain, things like fork won't affect the gem at all because it does not ever hit it and not pierce. So there's that. One other thing too is you can do lesser multiple projectile, but the one thing to note with that is every time you cast, each of these separate orbs count as one cast. So basically an enemy can only get hit by one of these orbs even when they're overlapping like this. Only one enemy can get hit between the orbs, so that means or one orb can only hit the enemies between all three of the orbs. So that means this is almost kind of a waste. I mean, you could do this and increase the area that you're actually hitting things in, but in general, I'd have to say it's not really that useful to link it up to multiple projectiles or lesser multiple projectiles, other than increasing the spread of the skill. The other thing you could do too is you could do added chaos. Added chaos would allow you to ignore reflect a little bit more. Added lightning would increase shock chance and amounts of shock duration. You could also do increase area effect. Increase area effect, especially with extra cast speed, would allow the lightning spikes that come away from the orb to hit further away targets from the orb. And, alongside with if you did slower projectile would also increase the damage in the sense that the orbs would be going a lot slower. So since they're traveling a lot slower, monsters that are next to the orbs while they're traveling would still get hit continuously, and any orbs that are next to each other that are part of separate casts will be doing extra damage as well. You could always do funky things like remote mine. Remote mine, of course, always works with any spell. And the one thing to note with remote mine or trap with this gem is each of these orbs count as a separate cast. So that means if they do manage to go in the same direction towards a target, they are in fact separate casts. So you don't have to worry as much about overlapping, because they do overlap when they're like this. So it is one way to increase the damage effectiveness of this spell by a decent amount. You can also do it with multiple traps. Multiple traps also counts, where each separate ball would be able to do damage. Empower is always a great gem for any spell. The main reason why it's really good for any spell is because spells always, their damage is affected by not the weapon as much as the skill gem itself. The skill gem itself has the damage on it. The weapon only augments the damage by a bit. I guess the best way to think about it is to think of the skill gem's spell damage as the flat damage that you're scaling, and then your weapon is the percent damage that's scaling that damage. But and percent only, it's hard to get a really good amount of percent on different wands. But stuff like +2 to lightning, +1 to all, and then an empower would increase a lot of damage from this skill. You could always do things like Iron Will if you had like a ton of strength for some reason. Life gain on hit would not work on it because remember, it's a spell, not an attack, and life gain on hit, if you notice, has the tags attack and support. So unfortunately you can't do that with the gem. You can do slower projectiles. I don't have one on me currently, but it is an option. And you could also do multi-trap, like I said, and trap. But yeah, otherwise, hopefully this kind of gives you a good idea of what you can do with the skill and how to make it more effective for yourself. Otherwise, make sure to follow me on Twitch and YouTube, and hopefully you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching.